Okay. 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 Where's Reverend Awe? We're on Zoom. I mean, we're already on Facebook. Reverend Awe? Okay. Yeah. I want to welcome the panelists. I don't know what happened to Professor Dairo. He came in now, got disconnected, and I'm sure he's going to join us very soon. I'd like to go straight by introducing the panelists. Those who have been regular will have seen the face of Professor Awe. He was actually a panelist on the episode 1. And I would like to introduce him once again for those who didn't watch that episode 1. Funsho Awe, like we call himself, is a retired clergyman. But I know he's not retired because he still gets to go and preach in one place or the other. And is the current president of the Lagos Center in Oregon, Lagos, Nigeria. Professor Awe has been a teacher of the world. I remember years ago, he was one of the teachers coordinating Lagos Anglican Bible College at that time. And then we are three, Reverend, Bishop Awe, to have you. You are a distinguished man of many parts to join this final episode of Holistic Harmony series. I welcome you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'd like to welcome another friend of mine. I mean, Bishop Awe is a very great friend of mine, friend of many years. I have another great friend of mine of many years. And the name might be a little bit long to some people, but that's the way she wants to be addressed. She's Deaconess Mercy Ben Kokoma Bayode. I love that way, Kokoma. She's a retiree who worked and retired from Unipetrol Nigeria Limited. I mean, Unipetrol Nigeria Limited is now known as O&O. She later became the CEO of Main Limited, a company founded by her late husband, an electrical switchgear and motor control manufacturing based in Nigeria. Mrs. Mercy Kokoma lives now, Bayode, in the United States of America. So I don't want you to be confusing when I keep on mentioning Nigeria. That's the origin and where she's coming from. She's an evangelist who is very, very passionate about the things of the kingdom. I can testify to that. She's a prayer warrior. She's a great evangelist. She even have a television, a YouTube TV of her own, where she preaches on the pulpit. She was ordained as a deaconess in the Redeemed Christian Church of God in 2011. She can be described as an extravagant worshiper. I think there is anything like that. And disciple of the Lord Jesus Christ, because she's so passionate about things of Christ. She has a soft heart for those hurting, especially the underprivileged widows. She has walked through that part herself when she became a widow, so she can empathize with widows. This led to the establishment of her widow ministry, the Mercy Ministry for the widows in Nigeria, through which she ministers to the widows. She's currently based in the USA, blessed with 4 children and 4 grandchildren. I welcome you, Evangelist Mercy Ben Kokoma Bayode.
Thank you, Rengos. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be part of this. Thank you.
Okay. When Professor Dairo finally gets over the technological itch and joins us, I will reintroduce him. But we are going to go straight. Like I said, this is the Holistic Harmony Series 5 is the final. And then what we are doing today is just integrating body, mind, and spirit for lasting well-being. We're going to go through all the things we have done from episode 1 to 4, and then finalize on this light one. So I will love now to share the screen so that all of us can see what we are going to discuss. Oh, okay. That's the screen. What we are doing today, like I said earlier on, is bringing together insights from previous discussions to explore the holistic approach to well-being, emphasizing the interconnectedness of body, mind, and spirit, and practical steps for achieving harmony in life. I didn't introduce myself, the host. So I like to use this opportunity to do a kind of brief introduction of myself for those who are probably joining us for the first time. My name is Josephine, and my middle name is Olatomi. Friends, family, they just call me Tomi, but Josephine being my first name is used by so many. I hold a Doctor of Philosophy in Philosophy of Religion and Theology. I'm a certified professional life coach and a trauma-informed care coach, and also a mental health advocate. I empathize a lot with people, and I think that's even where some of us who are here on this panel do connect, because I try to bring people who are passionate about others. I know I'm able to help others. And I see holistic well-being. In my coaching practice, I use what I call science of well-being, which is a tool that encompasses evidence-based positive psychology with biblical principles. And then when you see man of God here, you see an evangelist who's passionate about the kingdom, you can understand perfectly well why this kind of people are coming in to talk on this panel. Now, let's go to the next one. The episode 1, and good enough, retired clergy Funshawe was a member of that panel. And that panel consists of about 3 people, including me making 4. I had Folafayo, who was also a coach, Mrs. Olubukola Ogunfayo, widely known as Folafayo, and also Mrs. Eniton Oshewa, the CEO of Any Brains, along with Reverend Funshawe for this first episode. They dealt strictly with foundations of fulfillment, that is nurturing body, mind, and spirit. That particular episode 1 delves into the essential components of holistic well-being, including physical health, mental clarity, and spiritual connection. This exploration highlights the interconnectedness of these elements and underscores the importance of balance, resilience, and continual growth in fostering a fulfilling life. Reverend Awe, is there anything from this particular episode you remember that is not here that you just want to share again with the audience? Reverend Awe, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I said.
I hope I'm clear now.
Yeah, you are clear. I mean, this is episode 1. You are part of that panel. So is there anything that is not in this summary of episode 1 that you want, something you want to share more on this particular episode?
I think you've rightfully summarized the basic of our discussion, that is the importance of harmonizing your body, your mind, your spirit, putting them together. Definitely, like we said, we discussed at that edition. If there's a disconnect between these three concepts, then something definitely is wrong with the person. If your body is not functioning, your mind and spirit will also suffer it. And if one of the units also, the spirit and the mind, is misfunction, then something definitely is wrong with the body also. So I think we just discussed holistically the interconnectivity of the three concepts.
Okay. Evangelist Bayode, even though you are not part of that particular episode, is that something do you have anything you want to say? Or maybe on physical health, or you want to say it on mental clarity or spiritual connection in having wholeness?
Yes, thank you. I just want to say that there is no doubt that since human being is made of the body, soul, and spirit, and we cannot operate without that consciousness of the interconnectedness of these three aspects of human life. Because if your body is not in good form, it cannot relate well, cannot do things that it's supposed to do. Something will suffer. If you are not conscious spiritually of who you are and how to relate into spiritual aspects of life, then definitely that aspect of your life will suffer. And so that is just the obvious situation. Also, the soul has to be fed. If you are not conscious of that aspect of your life too, that part will suffer. So there is interdependence on this aspect of life. So everybody has to strive. If you want to strive in every aspect of your life, then you must learn to bring a balance between this aspect of your life. There's no doubt about that. So I totally agree with the summary that I see, and it goes down well. That's just the truth of life.
Thank you very much. So we know that even when we are emotionally disturbed, it could probably affect our physical health. So when you think, oh, you are feeling sick, you are not well, sometimes it's not everything you need to do. You should check yourself emotionally, spiritually, your mental clarity, so that because they all work together. Thank you very much. Episode 2. That is when we talk about the power of connection, cultivating healthy relationships. See, in that particular episode, they dealt with the power of connection that is a profound aspect of human existence, deeply intertwined with our well-being and overall quality of life. That is, by cultivating healthy relationships, whether intimate connections with loved ones or broader social networks, is very crucial to our mental, emotional, and physical health. At its core, the power of connection lies in the innate human need for belongingness and social connection. From the moment we are born, we crave connection with others. Even like we said before we are born. And that is why when a woman is pregnant now, the doctors encourage that particular woman or even the husband to start speaking to that child inside the fetus. So immediately we are born, you find that the child is been connecting with the mother, it's connecting with the father. So the power of connection is very, very important. These connections provide us with emotional support, a sense of security, and validation of our experiences and feelings. In essence, every relationship serves as a buffer against the challenges and stresses of life. And I will still say it because that particular episode 2, there was a robust kind of discussion. Yeah, Professor Dairo is now in. It was part of that episode 2. So you understand what we are saying when it comes in too. So, like intimate, you are welcome back, Professor Dairo. I'm sorry about your connection problem. Intimate connections such as those with romantic partners or close ones play a particular significant role in our lives. And that's why you find some people, when they have, maybe when they are disconnected, either with their fiance or their boyfriend or their loved ones or their husband or with their wives or something, it could make some people emotional imbalance because their identity is part of that thing. So broader social network also contribute to our well-being, meaningful ways. And that's why some people are not under depression today. The positive impact of the social media. You can imagine. Some people, there's nothing some people will not go on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Twitter to say. I've seen some people in my Twitter page, maybe they just lost their son or lost their husband or wife. That morning or that minute, they post it there. Some people might say, this person is money. Why is it? The person is trying to share it with the community to be able to maybe help him or herself get a kind of emotional balance. So in conclusion, the power of connection in cultivating every relationship can never be overstated. So nurturing these bonds from intimate connections is very essential for overall well-being and happiness. So we can foster meaningful connections that profoundly enrich our lives by prioritizing communication, empathy, quality time, support, respect, conflict solution, and gratitude. At this point, because I'm going to call Professor Dairo to say something here, this is episode 2, and it was part of that panel. I would like to introduce him all over again. For some people who are just joining us for the first time and they don't know who Professor Dairo is. Professor Afolorunsho Olalekan Dairo, a distinguished member of the Department of the Religious Studies and Philosophy at Redeemers University of Ede, Nigeria, has exemplified unwavering dedication throughout his career, having served as the head of the department for many years and later as the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities. Professor Dairo left an indelible mark on the institution, and currently he continues to inspire as a visiting professor and Dean of Education at Caleb University, Lagos, Nigeria. Professor Dairo, I welcome you back. I know you were in at the beginning and you had problem with the connection, but thank God it's been resolved now. We are going over some of the things the previous episodes. I know you are part of episode 2, and we just mentioned briefly some of the things, the summary of what your panel discussed. So if there's anything that you want to add to this, we welcome you to say it, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I'm sorry I tried to join even before the time, but the network has been disturbing. Well, when we talk about power of connection in cultivating healthy relationships, we discovered when we were doing it that there are a lot of factors that caused unhealthy relationship. And until these major reasons were removed, it will be very difficult to have healthy relationship. We talk about communication, which is very, very important. in any relationship. And if there is communication gap between the husband and wife, for instance, for the relationship to be healthy will become a very difficult thing. So there are a lot of things which we have discussed, but I wouldn't know whether you still want us to repeat what you have said earlier or just if we have anything to add, that we can just add it. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dairo. Reverend Bishop Fushawe, please, do you have anything you just want to say about interconnectedness?
Well, like the prof said, and like you iterate on the brief summary of section 2, relationship, if you are not relating with other people, definitely it will have an adverse effect on your mind and spirit, and as it goes on like that, with time, your even your body will be disconnected. Basically, that is why what we enjoy in our situation, no matter what is happening in our own country here in Nigeria, because this is an international discussion. There was a time they said Nigerians are the happiest people in the world. It's not because they are getting things easy, but it's because we are basically a communal people. You relate with people around you. In other climes, somebody will say you are prognosing into their affairs. You come out of your house, you greet your neighbor. I remember days when I spent in Canada, you greet your neighbor, the person will not even answer you. You don't even know who's your next door neighbor. If anything is wrong with you, you're on your own. And that's why they record a lot of, what we call depression in those areas. Here, no matter what is going on Saturday, today now, I have about 3, 4, 5 weddings who I'm best to attend, unless I didn't want to go. Those are things that keeps us, a relationship. And right from the time you are young, you are everybody's baby. And everybody is somebody's baby. Somebody looks after you. In fact, somebody will see you, you don't know the person, we start asking after, especially in my own culture, the Yoruba culture, how is your children? If we don't even call your children, we say, how are my children? How are my children? Your wife, we say, how is my wife? And you start wondering, you have to say that to other people, they will ask you, what's wrong? What's with me and your wife? Or what's with me and your children? But here, we are basically very communal people. And I think that is what has kept us going. I remember, I have to, just quickly, let me just say this. I look at a woman who lost the husband, and right then and then, in her house, she will be given a special seat. Everybody will be coming in. Everybody will come around that person. The whole community, everybody will keep taking their turn. As some people are going, some people are coming. It will go on like that for days, 40 days. And no, we are communal people. And my son said, why don't you just come around here to Australia? And he quickly said, you will not come, I know. Because basically you have all those people around you there. That's why you will not step out. And that is it.
Thank you very much.
I think, let me quickly add a little to what the bishop has just said. In Africa, actually, what we enjoy most is this issue of interconnectedness in relationship because of the shared values. We share so many things together. Unlike where you are there in US, here, if you need anything, you can go to the next neighbor and ask, can you assist me with this or that? Outside this Africa, you can hardly do such a thing. So we share a lot of things together. We share our experiences, We share our problem, our passion, we share them together. And this is what makes us to be very happy. So then even apart from that, the mutual support you have from family, from friends, from even those people who are not even close to you. Once they know you are in one problem or the other, they offer to assist. And that always keep us very, very happy. Then we trust ourselves. Apart from now that a lot of things are happening, there's always trust and loyalty in as regards relationship. So if they tell you anything, you just take it that is just the gospel truth. Unless by now a lot of things are just trooping in that are making people to doubt themselves, but it was not like that before. So the shared experiences and memories always help us so much as regards interconnectedness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof, and thank you, Bishop. I mean, you've said it all. Can I call Evangelist Bayode? Do you have something to chip in here?
Well, thank you. I just wanted to say that because I'm naturally, as you know, a very spiritually inclined person, I want to say that God who made us, who created man himself, gave man a manual, which is the Bible. And everything about life that pertains to life, we can find the answers in that Bible that can make us complete and fulfill, victorious, blessed life. God himself said in Genesis 1 that it is not good for man to be alone. So man was from the beginning made with that mindset that they're going to be a communal effort. That's why I said multiply, subdue the earth, multiply, and all that. There is no way we can ever be happy and complete in this world without that healthy relationship. So, but it has to be intentional. We have to be intentional about creating healthy relationship that can make us happy. It has to be a personal decision. You have to make up your mind to create something, a situation, an environment that can make you happy. It is in your hand. Our happiness is in our hand. And like the speakers have said, we have people that we can lean on. There's a popular song that says we all need somebody to lean on. The problem is that sometimes people don't seek help or know that they can go to other people for whatever reason. So we all need one another. Healthy relationship is a very welcome phenomenon that we advise everybody to explore. God himself desires that for us to be healthy, for us to be happy, we need to have a healthy relationship. The Bible says, as much as it's even possible within you, live healthy with every man. So we need to explore whether we can, because that is what will bring about happiness. If we don't relate with other people, then we get bubbled up inside. And the word also says, a merry heart does well like medicine. A broken spirit dries the bone. So there is need for us to reach out to people. For whatever reason we may find ourselves, we have to reach out and seek and relate with other people, find help anyway, whatever the situation may be. So we need to relate with other people. We need to create that. We need to be intentional about it to create a healthy relationship for ourselves. Our life is in our hand. Our happiness, our joy is in our hand. And we have to be conscious of that.
Thank you very much, all panelists. I just want to round up from what you have just said, that it's great to, the power of connection is very great. It cultivates healthy relationship. I remember during years ago when I had traumatic events, one after the other surrounded. It was that power of connection, having people around me. Apart from my parents, having others. I remember that time I used to be the charter president of a Lions Club. And then the day something terrible really happened to me, I still went to other Lions Club meeting. And the presence of my fellow Lions, my friends around me, actually helped me to be able to withstand the onslaught of that traumatic event, and then having so it is very important because people don't have this support or this connection. like Bishop Awe said, they go into depression. Some of them, even when they are traumatized, it leads them to post-traumatic stress disorder. So it's very important for us all to know this. So let's move forward. Episode 3, we're getting there. They discuss mindfulness and meaning. That is, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is commonly defined as being fully present and engaged at the moment, aware of your thoughts, aware of your feelings without distraction or judgment. And this heightened awareness allows individuals to experience life more fully and respond to situations with greater clarity and calm. We also discussed that mindfulness has been adapted and integrated from ancient Buddhist traditions into modern secular practices. Its core principles of focused attention, non-judgmental awareness, and acceptance form the foundation of mindfulness practices that enhance present moment awareness and promotion. I know, remember in this particular episode, we discovered the origin of mindfulness is from the Buddhist kind of people. And because they're very prolonged, they have core principles. Mindfulness have got like focus, attention, non-judgmental awareness that I mentioned that time, and also acceptance. Acceptance in mindfulness refers to fully embracing the present moment, including any discomfort or unpleasant experiences, and trying to avoid alter them. And then some of the practices, the tools in mindfulness is the body scan, meditation. And that body scan means when you lie down and mentally scan your body from your head to your toe, bringing awareness to each part of your body. Sitting meditation, focusing on the breath, bodiless sensations, thoughts, and emotion in seated position. Actually, even in a coaching section, sometimes ago, there are certain examples we tell when we come to the meditation something. When you find somebody in anxiety or agitated, there are something we can say, we tell the person to rub the hands together. You can do the rubbing of hands together, either under the table or you do it out. It calms you down. You just need to calm down. And I think there was one viral video sometimes ago when a little child was telling the mom, calm down, calm down. We say it a lot. So as an adult, when you are agitated, you could calm yourself down by either rubbing your hands together or by breathing. That's what we call deep breathing. You deep breathing. You breathe in and then breathe out. Breathe in, you breathe out. You do that for about 5 minutes or even less than 5 minutes. You get much better. And then we talk about mindful movement, the yoga, gentle yoga, and stretching exercises done mindfully. It's still part of mindful way. Also, in mindfulness, part of the thing discussed, because in that panel too, like panel 2, episode 2, where Professor Dairo was included, Engineer Shoboyejo and Engineer Temitope Ogufayo. In this particular, the episode 3, talking about mindfulness, I remember we have Engineer Ayo Shewa. Engineer Ayo Shewa, and then, Kainde Shogunle. Honorable Kainde Shogunle. Honorable Kainde Shogunle, and then I hope I'm not missing them together because some of them in episode 3 and episode 4. Episode 3, this mindfulness. We had Akogun Tola Adeniyi. Akogun Tola Adeniyi, a multiple chief. Then we have Honorable Kehinde Shogunle. Those were the 2 on this particular episode 3. The other episode is we mentioned the name when we get to 4. This is still Harmony series episode 4. They discuss also the importance of aligning actions and personal values. I mean, some people don't even know their values. And when you don't know your personal values, you might not be able to really, truly be mindfulness. Because when you align with your values, that is, you live in alignment with what you value more. Your actions, your decisions, with the core principles, lead you to be authentic and leads to integrity. Also, when we talk about increased meaning, when individuals align their actions within their values, they often experience a profound sense of purpose. In alignment helps to ensure that their effort and goals are directly towards what they genuinely care about. I mean, that panel also spoke about consistency and coherence, fulfillment and satisfaction. Because when you align with your values, it leads to a more profound sense of fulfillment. You are fulfilled, you are satisfied, you are happy. As individuals, you feel you are living true to yourselves. You are not faking it. You are embracing your vulnerabilities. You are embracing yourselves. So, and it leads to positive relationships. It leads to motivation and direction. I think by and large, that's all we said about, and then we spoke about integrating meaning, purpose, and the value together. We reflected on the holistic approach, the reflective practices, the mindfulness practices that we mentioned earlier on, and the individuals can cultivate a more intentional and fulfilling life. And I want us to underline the word intentional, because whatever we want to do that has a meaning, that has a purpose, has to be intentional. Even with spiritually, you have to intentionally want to give your life to Christ if you're a Christian, or intentionally want to deny God if you're an atheist. Also, it happens to every other thing. Intention must be there. So this alignment fosters personal well-being and contributes a more profound sense of presence and purpose in the daily experiences. So I leave it open. I know Evangelist Bayode, you love a lot of exercises. You go to the gym a lot. You do a lot of all these mindfulness practices, meditation. Do you have something you want to ship in here?
Well, you're right, because like I said, I always want to also refer to the word of God that says bodily exercise profits little. And so I took that from that. And I know that even if it's the little, like every other aspect of my life, I must be intentional about that. So I'm very intentional about keeping my body fit, nurturing my body. Because you want long life, you want a healthy lifestyle, then you have to work on that aspect of life. So like you said, we have to balance that. So I do a lot of that. Personally, I go to gym. I work out like almost 4 times in a week. Go to other gym, or I take my walk every day, or sometimes I do stretches and all that. So I do a lot. I give that aspect of my life the time that it is a quality time to work out. And that's because I believe that there has to be a balance between my spiritual life. You have to do while you're doing that, while you're meditating, while you're praying, while you're doing everything, you must also balance the other aspect of your life, which makes a total man. And so I encourage people to create a lifestyle that give them time to work out, exercise, keep fit. And then knowledge, while you're acknowledging the body, eating well, eating healthy food, veggies, fruits, and what have you, eating healthy. To also knowledge the body, you must also walk, do exercises. And while and the spiritual aspect is also taken care of, while you're meditating on the word of God, while you're applying it to your real life situation. So like you said, it has to be total. You have to be able to align and harmonize these 3 facets of human life somehow. And you have to be intentional about it. That word intentional, you just said, that is very, very crucial. Everything is in your hand. You have to create a lifestyle that makes you happy, that creates joy around you. It's your decision. It's your life. So you have to create it. That's what I believe. Thank you.
Bishop Awe.
Well, mindfulness. Unfortunately, I could align with my sister Mercy, when he's talking about, exercising your body and all those things, that will build up your body. But the thing with the mind now is that we're not doing so much justice to our mind in recent times that I know by a lot of people. One, a lot of ways you get yourself, especially someone like me, office. I read a lot. The reading culture is dying down. People tend to think they are in a communal setup. They are doing well by being attached to the social media. Like Tommy, you earlier mentioned that people are on the social media. But the social media, you get engaged with a lot of people. At the same time, you are isolating yourself psychologically. I've seen families where people sit down and everybody is carrying their phone and everybody is into their phone. In fact, even somebody comes to visit you, the person sit down and you are sitting down and both of you are on the phone. You are not even communicating with yourself. Then what is the essence of the visitation? And so you discover that a lot of people are mind lost. They are not actually, you tend to be, like, for example, on social media, on the Facebook, for example, you have over 10,000, 20,000 followers, and at times you call them friends on Facebook. You don't know them, they are faceless, and you are saying you have friends. No, those things disconnect. I think we are getting to a situation where a lot of people are having mental torture, thinking they are connecting with people and thinking that they can escape their present situation by going on TikTok and all those things. And it is killing them more. There are things that we must do physical. I have been trying to encourage a lot of people. Growing up, we read books, you read a lot of novels, you have a lot. Now, even if you have books, nobody is reading them. Nobody even wants to write again. They are getting lazy. If you send a message to somebody and the message is already about 500, 200 words, they will not even go through it. They want something sharp, precise. I think the world all around us, they are getting mad. It's like we are living in a crazy society. And until we begin to, you will discover that those days, people are better. The health system, that's mental health, is better. I don't know how we're going to have to get over all those things. You are talking about meditation. Today, people even have time for meditation again. How many people will sit practicing yoga? Or even in the church, when you are saying you are encouraging them, go on retreat, meditate on the word of God. There are too many things surrounding us that is distraction. The world is full of mental distractions all over the place. And until you are able to, you have the ability to control your mind in such a way that you will remove those things that are not necessary and concentrate on those things that are necessary. I think we need to start doing something about that in the world we live in.
Thank you very much, Bishop. Professor Dai, yeah. Evangelist Bayode, you want to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to agree so very much with what you just said now, because the world that we are is such fast changing, and a lot of people are looking for quick fix. And so they don't spend time to, like you said, a lot of people don't meditate, and that meditate It's an important aspect of one's life. Everybody is running after one thing is running after them. But it still boils down to the fact that if you want a life that is blessed, truly blessed life, then you have to prioritize, you have to determine what is right for you. You have to create the time. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. It is you that must be determined that you're going to create this time to spend time to meditate either on the word of God or to pray, to seek divine assistance. Because the world, as we said, we have so many distractions. We can't do it alone, but we have somebody can help us to do. So we have to look up to that person. And we look up to that person in the place of prayer. So no matter how busy, you must find time to seek divine assistance. You must find time for every other thing, for relationship. Let's work with our family. We must allocate adequate time to take care of these different facets of life that matters to make us to be able to have a thriving life or a blessed, victorious lifestyle. We have to create that time, no matter the times that we are in now, because it's going to get worse as the days that come. So we have to make up our mind to decide what we want and create time for every aspect of our life. We have to learn to balance life somehow or anyhow. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina. Professor Dairo, you want to say something about mindfulness and maybe integrating meaning, purpose, and value into
Well, thank you very much. Just as a way of rounding off, I have two things I wanted to talk about here for healthy relationship. It was as if Madam Bayode saw my mind because one of them is the issue of prioritizing quality time. We don't prioritize our time. So we waste too much time on unnecessary things. And there's no way you can do that and have healthy relationship with others. So the bishop talked about phone, the home where there are phones and everybody is busy pressing phone. When they don't interact, I don't know how healthy relationship can happen in a place where you are just on your own, everybody to himself. So you don't relate, you don't talk. If you have problem, you don't share it. You share it on Facebook, you share it on Twitter and the rest. So it is just quite unfortunate. The second one has to do with embracing each other's differences. Yes, we are not born equally. We have individual differences. If you want to have a healthy relationship with others, you should be able to know and embrace each other's differences. Don't expect everybody to behave the same way you are behaving. Don't expect everybody to react to issues the same way you react to issues. So you should be able to understand each other's differences and embrace it if you want to enjoy healthy relationships. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I need to appreciate all members of this panel because you brought out a very cogent and germane point. I mean, you prioritize your timing and you try to find time to meditate, to be alone. I don't know, either alone with God or alone with yourself. Honestly, there's a difference between the European countries or peers like North America here where I live and things like that. They don't joke with their leave. They don't joke. And they like to travel. So they will have planned before their leave, either they're flying somewhere or they are cruising somewhere. Whereas in Africa, a lot of people will probably want to even monetize their leave. When they are due to have leave, they say, well, if you can pay me the money, just pay me the money, I can continue that kind of thing, which is not, it's not proper. There should be, and then quality sleep. That's part of the thing I deduce. Quality sleep. Everybody must, because that is when the brain resets itself. And that is what we are talking about mindfulness. When you are doing mindfulness to help you, you are resetting your brain. You are cooling down. You are calming yourself down. You are aligning everything. You are thinking properly. Some people do it when they walk. For me, the only kind of exercise I do now is walking. I try to walk within nature. And when I'm walking, I see trees and the leaves and all these kind of animal squirrels or birds flying. I try to appreciate other creatures of God. And then that's when I think best. I create best, and then come back. That's it. So I agree with all you have said, and I want to thank you very much. And I think the guests there, those people are connected on Facebook. You have taken note about what you've talked about mindfulness, about being intentional, about prioritizing things and not work. Even connectivities is very important. When you are visiting somebody, it's not the time to be pressing phone, to be doing something different. Truly connect with such a person. Let's go to the next. I think we now go to this still part of happiness. I mean, we have said it all. The impact of well-being, happiness, we have said it. Impact. I want to cultivate him. Now, I will just go back to episode 4. Episode 4. Here is where we are understanding resilience and renewal. This particular episode, a clinical psychologist from Arrow Psychiatric Hospital, one of their deputy directors there, was on this panel, along with engineer Ayo Shewa. And I remember we will go down to it. When they talk about this thing, it's so interesting. And I will tell you, resilience and renewal, how you can build it. Resilience, as we all know, is the ability to bounce back. That is the process and outcome of successfully adapting to challenging life experiences, primarily through mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility and adjustment to external and internal demands. That when you have something stressing you, or you go through a kind of traumatic experience, when you are able to bounce back, that is resilience. And everybody should aspire to be a resilient person. So increased resilience individuals who have already overcome significant adversity may develop a greater capacity to cope with future challenges and stressors. In that particular panel, I remember engineer Ayo Shewa spoke about the 7 C's of resilience. So I did a kind of research on it because, he broke it down. He mentioned all the 7 C's to find out. I mean, even when he was talking that day, he mentioned it that everybody can do research and find out about the 7 C's of resilience and things like that. And the clinical psychologist, Dr. Shode, actually highlighted and emphasized on it. The 7 C's of resilience is a kind of robust framework, and it was developed by a particular doctor, Dr. Kenneth Galland, who offers a beacon of hope for building resilience. He mentioned the tools one can use to cope with life challenges and thrive despite any traumatic event or any adversity. The first C is competence. The ability to handle situations effectively plays a crucial role in building resilience. That is, encouraging young people to be skills. I remember that I think during the episode where Professor Dairo was, he emphasized on school, the children, the kind of skills they should kind of introduce from either secondary school or something like that. So the same thing here. You encourage young people to be skills and trust in their abilities. Through experiencing, demonstrating competence is very essential, as this can significantly help them in building up their resilience. The second C is confidence. A belief in one's abilities and self-worth. Honestly, you need to believe in yourself. I used to say something about the triangle of love, which is from the great commandments of God, to love God and love others compassionately. I bring it into front. I said, the first one is to love God completely. It's also the 3 C's of love. You love God completely, but you have to love yourself. you love God completely, you love yourself correctly, and you love others compassionately. Those are the 3 C's of love. If you don't love yourself correctly, there's no way you can love God totally or you can love others compassionately. It's the same thing. When you love yourself correctly, you have this confidence. You build up your competence. So I believe in one's ability and self-worth by providing opportunities either for youth or an adult to recognize their strengths, foster a pride and accomplishment. And that's why one should be celebrating little reason milestone. When you have children, you are nurturing them. When you do something right, celebrate with them. Let them know. You shouldn't wait until they have a big success before you celebrate them. Connection, that's the 3rd C. Your support in promoting solid relationship and a supportive environment where young people feel understood and connected is invaluable. And this can provide a sense of security, belonging, enhancing their resilience. And we are talking about young people now, helping them to deal with connection. How about adults? Are you making positive connection with others? Are you showing love compassionately to others? Then we go to the 4, character. You see, character, a sense of right and wrong and a commitment to integrity. A lot of people have actually left character alone. What people know you to be is your reputation. Reputation is not the same thing as character. A character is what God knows you to be. And that's why you might find somebody within different communities has different description. When people are describing as a family person, has the wife or the children to come and, or the husband and the children to describe such a person. It's another way. In the community, maybe in the church or in the mosque, or where that person lives among the people. When they're describing their neighbor or somebody, a member of the church, a member of the mosque, is something different. And then when you now go out something other, they have another. So you would think they're talking about 3, 4, 5 people instead of one person because you don't have their character. All those things that I'm mentioning are just the reputation he has. But if it's a character of integrity is only one because it's the truth, and truth is constant. And the 5 one is contribution. Understanding the importance of personal contribution to the community. How are you serving your community? How many people have you helped? Everything is not even money. Like somebody was saying hello. Somebody doesn't even know who to talk to. Nobody to play with me. Nobody to talk to me. You just see the person you talk to, you share that person up. You don't know. You encourage somebody. It could be that your community, everybody hasn't got the money to give out to people, but this kind of talk we are doing, you are contributing to the support to the community. Someone somewhere, either now on Facebook or later when he's going to look at it on YouTube or LinkedIn, the person will learn something. That is a part of contribution you have done in the impact of somebody. And then the 6, coping, the ability to manage stress effectively. Do we have the coping? I was saying, on one of my videos yesterday on Facebook when I was talking on YouTube too, I was talking that from tragedy to triumph. I was speaking on particular trauma of mine and how I was able to really overcome it. I mentioned a particular passage in the Bible. I mentioned that because as a Christian, I need to know that. And that passage is 1 Corinthians 10:13. I mentioned 3 basic things I learned from that particular passage. The first one, there is no trial, that's not, that Bible passage is saying there is no trial or temptation that has seized you that is uncommon to mankind. But one of the things I learned is that God says is faithful. Do you really, really trust in this faithful God? The second one is where I'm coming into. He said, I will not allow you to bear more than you can bear, which means God has created everybody with a coping abilities, strategies. So how are you using your coping abilities created by God? in helping yourself in times of adversity. And the third one I learned from that same verse is that it will never allow, it will provide a way of escape. But now the second one is the one I want to anchor on now, coping. How you use your ability, your coping ability to be able to manage stress effectively. Then the seventh one is control. Recognizing that one has control over the outcomes of one's actions. In my coaching service, I used to teach people the things in your control, the things outside your control. You can't control how people think about you. You can't control what they will say or what they will talk about. You can't control that. But your thoughts is within your control. Your own actions is within your control. How you react to others is within your own control. So how are you using your control over your action? Helping yours to understand that they can influence the direction of your lives or the lives of others. So these 7 components work together to build a strong foundation for resilience, helping individuals navigate difficulties and bounce back from setbacks. So I'd like to go to the professor now to chip in some things that he wants us to learn, maybe practical lessons or whatever from resilience.
Thank you very much, man. I love all the points you have raised, but there is a particular one that caught my attention, and that has to do with the management of traumatic experiences. When there is traumatic experience, surely nobody prays for traumatic experience, but it's bound to come. And when it comes, how you can manage it? If you can manage it well, then it requires a process of healing and recovery. The process of healing and recovery will follow, and then growth will follow. You learn from what happened at that particular time, and that will help you in reacting to future experiences. So there are some steps that one can easily take to overcome this traumatic experience. One may need to acknowledge and accept the problem. So our problem in this part of the world is that we throw the book to another person. This is the person that is causing the problem for me. Instead of you accepting it as your problem and then see how you can overcome it, you believe that it's another person. It's a particular woman in the back of your house, a particular short man in front of your house that is causing the problem. So if you believe in that, for you to manage traumatic experience will be extremely difficult. Then when you discover that, well, this problem, I need to seek counsel and I need assistance of people. You can seek support for people to. More than that, you have to practice self-care. To practice self-care. So if you can practice self-care, I think it's going to help a lot. So you express and work through feelings, association with the trauma, and that will help you a lot. Then you develop coping skills. When there are traumatic experiences, you have coping skills. Then you learn healthy strategies to manage triggers and emotions. If all this can happen, then I believe strongly that you'll be able to manage it well. And lastly, forgiveness and letting go. So forgiveness, you let it go. That when it has happened and happened, there's nothing I can do about it. Forgive yourself, forgive whoever caused the traumatic experience. And then that will actually lead to healthy relationship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dairo. I'd like to just mention something you mentioned now. Forgiveness is very key before I go to Bishop Awe, because forgiveness does not depend on anybody who has offended you to ask for forgiveness. You don't need to wait for that. By forgiving somebody, you are helping yourself. You are not helping even that person. It's yourself you are helping. Because if you don't forgive, the sorrow of lack of forgiveness can create even physical health. Disease or ailment. for you. So I agree with you. Thank you, sir, for mentioning, bringing that out. That forgiveness is very key. And I mean, you have to be merciful to others. Mercy is a communicable attribute that we get from God who created us. If you are not showing mercy to others, then I don't know who is your God or who you are serving. Because the God we know that created this earth is a merciful God. And that is an attribute that he has communicated to mankind. So, Bishop Awe, what would we like to say about resilience and renewal?
Resilience. Resilience is such a word that I talk about every day. And we can talk about 7 C's, 3 C's, and we can talk about a lot of grammar. But when I look at the practicality of life, and I look at my own people here in Nigeria, Nigerians are the most resilient people. No matter what life and situation gives them, they just take it, they shrug it off, and they continue with life. In fact, the professor that mentioned the 7 C's, if you bring that professor to Nigeria, he's likely going to run mad with what he's supposed to face. When we started this program, I didn't have light. I think the same thing happened to the prof also. I have to go on inverter. Then they brought light, and that's when you did not see me for a minute or two. I have to go and change it back. And that's why a lot of you, even at the age where you are supposed to be here enjoying this weather, you japa, you go to US, you are there, Mercy is in US, Tommy is in US, but we are here. Resiliency is a basic thing here in Nigeria. And I think the ability to cope, you use coping, the ability to cope for Nigerians is simply something that Jesus has always said. He said, if you have faith like a mustard seed, you can make things to happen. I think Nigerians basically are religious people. No matter what, if he's a Muslim, he believes in God. If he's a traditionalist, he believes that there's situation around him that will improve his situation. So there's, even when in the church, I didn't have problem preaching faith to a typical Nigerian. We live by faith. You go to take a vehicle to travel, it's by faith that the vehicle will get you to where you are going. The road is not good. The tire of the vehicle doesn't have 4 tires. It doesn't need, I went to a mechanic and somebody brought in a commercial vehicle and he's saying he has not been able to bring the thing for 4 days. Even though he doesn't have brake, he has to be carrying passengers in order to make money. Carrying passengers without brake. You see, we do a lot of odd things here. But that's why I said we live by faith in Nigeria. It is by faith that the price of fuel will not increase by tomorrow. It is by faith that we even see the fuel to buy to go to church tomorrow. You can just go out and the queue is already on the ground. Light, forget it. Whether you are band A or band B, forget it. That one is not there. NSC will say they are striking, they will not. We live by faith. And because basically the most important thing that will make people that you need to be resilient is faith. By faith, I know that tomorrow I will have electricity to iron my clothes to go to church. It's by faith. So here, that is why Nigerians are surviving. They are basically religious people. To be able to survive, you have to have God. You have to believe in God. You have to believe that there is a power that is beyond you, that is beyond the government, that is beyond everybody. The only coping mechanism in life is the fact that there is a power above all things. That you are even surviving. Well, so I've been discussing with a lot of people 2-3 days ago. Some people will tell you, I don't even know I am coping. I have 4 children. I am a widow. All I know is that at the end of the year, I have survived in paying their school fees. We kept seeing how we keep feeding ourselves. How we do it, we do not even know. The only thing is that we believe God is there for us. So when you have God with you and you have faith in a supreme being, that is when you can cope. That's all it requires for you to cope. And that's the unfortunate situation in the outside world there. They see our belief system in God here as stupidity. They ration out a lot of things using logic. And that is why they go into a lot of trouble. And that's why they cannot survive what we survive. In a lot of instances here, even people who do not even know the Bible, they have already handed their life to God and say, God, it is only through you I can survive. And that is just it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bishop. You said it now, the religious people, when they have, because religion is even different from faith. So, but again, you mentioned it, that those who have faith, that they live by faith, not just religiosity, but they have faith in the God. They are able to cope and they are able to be their resilience because of that. Evangelist Bayode, anything to contribute here?
Yes, thank you, our honorable host. I want to say I agree totally that faith plays a lot of a great part in the issue of resilience. For instance, now one of the Bible verses that has really helped me, 2 Corinthians 9:8, that says, "And God is able to make all grace abound to us, that you having all sufficiency will abound to every good work." God is able to make all grace abound, no matter what it is. And that's why in one of my life principles, which I penned down in my book, My Life, a Testimony of God's Faithfulness, is that along her life journey, we may be knocked down, we may be beaten down, but you don't have to stay down there. Get up, dust your garments, and move on, because God is still on the throne. God is with you. Favor will be with you, and victory will definitely eventually be on your side if you hold on. So I totally agree that faith play a great role. Oh my God, I'm sorry, something came up with trying to interrupt me. Okay. So I totally agree that our faith will play a good part in this. I want to take myself as an example. And when I found myself a widow, because of my faith in God and in His word and His rich promise that says, "Blessed be God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who comforts us in all our situations, that we may be able to comfort others." I found myself that God saw me through. I held on to that, and God truly comforted me, saw me through my table of the moments of trauma when I lost my husband, and He saw me through that. And I found out that one of the things God now put in my spirit was to help the needy one in that area, the widows. I want to give this typical example. There's a widow in my life and in my ministry. How she came into my life was simply because people in my church back in Nigeria, I was in the provincial headquarters at Province 3. They know me for who I stand for, and they know how God has helped me and how I have stood my ground, because I have learned to look up to the author and finisher of my faith, which is the Lord Jesus Christ. And then there was this widow, they said, lost the husband who was very dear to her, just like my case. And the woman just didn't want to live anymore. They want to even survive. She didn't want to die and follow her husband. And so somebody just stopped me at the entrance of the church when I said, "Please, Mrs. Barrett, they want to give you this woman to follow up." And that's why they gave me her address and I went to check her up, and I took her up from there. And sincerely, to be honest with you, when I got to meet this woman just, to get through into her was really, really tough. It shows how deeply wounded she was. But I had to keep preaching there, talking to her until she was able to open up and made her know that life is still on, God is still on the throne. So it is a determination, is a grace. So I would want to tell everybody, people will need to ask for that special grace. They want to start everything. And I want to refer to the Bible verse you also quoted, was the 1 Corinthians 10:13. That says that there's nothing that we will behold before man that is not common to man, and that God is faithful, and will always give you the grace to overcome it and escape to overcome it. If we know, because the problem with most of us is that we forget that we are body, soul, and spirit. We don't took care of the spirit, which is even to know the promises of God, our Creator, in His word for us. We don't even know the rich promises, so we can't apply it. What you don't know cannot work for you. So if you know it and you apply it, and you find that God is faithful, God will do his part as long as man does his own part. Always. He doesn't fail because He is faithful. And so that is true. And if you know that God is faithful, God will see you through. He can make all grace abound, as what He says in 1 Peter 2:3, that God can make all grace and peace be multiplied towards you. If you know that God is faithful, can make this, then God will give you the grace to face every situation and overcome it. God is very, very interested in giving us victory over any situation that we find ourselves if we trust in Him. That is a fact. No matter the situation, whether somebody hurts you, somebody hurt you terribly, and you're so hurt and you're like, you will never forgive that person. It doesn't work that way. You'll be doing yourself a favor when I one time got I got access to this book by Joyce Mayor. It says, "Do yourself a favor, forgive." I was glad when I found out, when I had that book and I read it. I said, "Oh my God, that book really blessed me." But I already knew that truth. So it says, "Do yourself a favor, forgive." Forgiveness is actually to yourself, you are doing a favor. Because for all you know, the person you are bitter, holding bitterness with is going about enjoying their life, doing nothing. And you are holding grief and bitterness in your heart. And the truth about life is that every time you see that person, something happens in your heart. Something just slip up in your heart. But that person there is not feeling it. And that person might just be enjoying years a day, and you are there feeling very sad and bitter. That's the truth about life. So we have to let go, whatever it may be, whether it is trauma, whether it is this, and if it's the one that is beyond you, and you find yourself doing maybe useful examples that you do things you ought not to have do. Learn to seek help, professional help, anything. You just seek the grace of God, and you just learn to look up to others who have overcome it. Open up, because the problem shared is half solved. So with all this, if you do that, it will help you to overcome your situation and overcome resilience and be able to bounce back to life. Those are the things. Coping is something you can do if you give yourself the chance to bounce back to life. So yeah, that's and because character, that you said, is when you do it over and over a time, people will know you that is it. Either character or integrity. I said in life that integrity is your calling card. That when you leave this, people will remember you back. So that's what I want to add to this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just want to say there are skills for regrowth, especially if something happens and you are finding it a little bit difficult to build up your resilience. Like I mentioned, that self-regulation, the master of the art of breathing. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. I mentioned the other exercise too. Psychological actions like rubbing your hands together. You can do it under the table. Maybe you're in front of somebody and think you are afraid or you have fear, rub your hands together. Then connection and support, you really need a network of people. Don't isolate yourself. Self-care. Thank God, I think Professor Dairo mentioned that when he was talking to us about self-care and revitalization. And in self-care, you must have a good quality sleep. I remember, me, because I love movies and I love this series. And these series are so many. And because there are so many, it's not something you can finish in an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You can't believe it. I will be doing night vigil on movie series instead of sleeping. But now I've learned to be able to cut it myself. There's still tomorrow. There's still another time. I can continue. It's not going away. Why do I have to finish everything now? Quality sleep is very important. You must have hobbies too. Activities. Please, if you don't have any hobbies, can get involved. You must get involved in activities, especially activities that bring you joy. And then if you're a spiritual person, upon your spiritual practices. Rest, reconnect with God. You must have a quiet time. I'm not talking about family altar. I'm not talking about family pay together. You yourself have a quiet time with God. It could be your praise time. It could be your prayer time. It could be anything. Even if it's going to be 5 minutes, have a quiet time with God. And then you have element of perceptual maturation. We have come to the end of the real discussion, but here I want to allow the panelists to give us their final thoughts, their words of encouragement, and then if there's anybody who is, either in this Zoom link or probably, I don't know if those one on Facebook, we can hear them if they have any question or they want to ask any of the panelists any or make comments. This is the time for it. So let me start with Bishop Awe. What's your final thoughts and words on holistic? Now we are talking about holistic well-being, about talking about emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, everything connected. So what's your final thoughts for our people?
Well, thank you very much. The World Health Organization describes good health as a situation of physical and mental well-being. And so we have to be very, very conscious of the fact that the three must be integrated for us to be able to live successfully. Your mind must be balanced while you are also taking care of your spiritual well-being. Like I said, basically here in Africa, we are very religious people, no matter the type of religions you practice. So spirituality is very important to us. Then, like we have all been discussing, your mind, you have to keep your mind, healthy also. No matter what, every situation around you, you must make sure that you do a lot to remain, mentally focused on a lot of things in order to survive. And thanks to what a lot of us here have contributed, you have to also look after your body. When you get to a certain age, like we have gotten to that age now, a doctor friend always tells me is that by the time you are hitting 50, what will kill you is already in your body. How long you live depends on how well you manage it. If you manage it very well, you can live to be 90, you can live to be already. But by the time you are 50, whatever will kill you is already with you. So if you are in that position, you start knowing, well, let me take my drug regularly. Let me visit my doctors regularly. Let me watch what I eat, what I'm not supposed to eat. Somebody might have seen me on this series drinking a bottle of Pepsi. It's not a bottle. This bottle, I will finish drinking one bottle in 2 weeks. So you just watch your health, try to concentrate and keep your mind free of a lot of things that will also affect your health, affect your body. And if you do all that and you have a good relationship with your Savior and your God, I think you are okay. Home and free. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Bishop. Well, Professor Dairo, please, your final thoughts.
Thank you so much, Ma. I want to first appreciate all the members of this panel who have contributed meaningfully to this discourse tonight. I think, well, as a way of rounding off, I want to talk about holistic well-being. And in talking about holistic well-being, it involves almost all that we have discussed tonight, starting from self-awareness and reflection, then setting boundaries and prioritizing needs. In this part of the country, we have serious problem with that. We don't know how to prioritize our needs. So you just do things as they come without thinking about the repercussion of most of the actions we take. Then we talk about practicing self-care, cultivating positive relationship, engaging in meaningful activities and hobbies, then embracing lifelong learning and personal growth. All these will result in holistic well-being. And integrate on the journey of holistic well-being, if we are able to note that physical well-being is very important, mental well-being is very important, emotional well-being is very important, and even spiritual well-being. So if we're able to put all this into consideration, I believe strongly that we are going to achieve what we want as holistic well-being. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Dairo. I mean, I can't even, maybe I said it initially. Professor Dairo was my standard examiner for my PhD thesis at Tajai Crowder University. Thank you, sir. I welcome you. Evangelist Bayode.
Thank you very much, my host. I just want to leave the listener by this message that holistic well-being, wholeness is possible. It is supposed to be, it's attainable. All we need to do is strive to balance, to nurture our mind, our body, and our soul. It's possible. And I want to say that what we need to do is strive to nourish our body, soul, and spirit. I want to emphasize that because God himself says everything in life wither away when joy withers from the souls of men, from the heart of men. So we need to create life that is joy. We need to create joy around us. We need to create joy around us. Paul in Philippians 4:4 said, I said to you, rejoice. Again, I say rejoice. We went on from rejoice again. Again, I say rejoice, to rejoice evermore. We have to strive to be joyful, remain joyful in life. Because joy creates a lot of things within a man. We have to do everything with us. We have to do everything that will make us happy. Go out there, exercise, as we are talking about exercising. Have enough sleep, sleep well, quality sleep. Be grateful, be thankful, live a life of gratefulness. Be thankful for what you have, because it could have been worse than where you are. It's only what you are, what you see that you know. So we have to be grateful in life. We have to stay positive. Always believe that good things will happen to you, because what you don't believe, what you don't expect, you cannot experience. It's what you believe that you be hopeful for. And it's what you're hopeful for that you can eventually experience. You have to stay hopeful. You have to believe in the power of God to make everything good happen to you. So be positive, stay positive and stay hopeful always. And believe that things will turn out well for you always. That's what I would like to.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to summarize what the panelists have spoken on their final thoughts. I mean, here, integration, that is, you need to integrate all the parts together to have healthy body, healthy relationship. You have to be focused, and those are key points. I'm just taking hook words from what they have said. The hook words that we should take home with: integration, healthiness, focused. You have to be focused. Self-care. You need to take care of yourself. The holistic well-being. It is possible. It's attainable. Then setting boundaries, which is very important. Yeah, we should learn to set boundaries, to love yourself correctly and set boundaries. Developing resilience, that is possible for you to build up your resilience by your coping abilities. Then spiritual awareness and being joyful, trust and believe in God. That is faith. That's essentially the key words from what the panelists I've just mentioned now. I want to thank you, panelists, once again. I'm so grateful to all of them. I mean, this is the second time Bishop Awe is coming. This is the second time Professor Dairo is coming. And the first time my friend Evangelist Bayode, but all of you have something in common. You are all my friends. I thank you and appreciate you. You are doing it selflessly. It's not that they're doing paid for coming. You are just contributing your own culture, your knowledge, your skill to the people. And God Almighty will bless you. God Almighty will cherish you. So this is me, Josephine. You can check more about me on my website, learnwithjose.com. Learnwithjose.com. This is bye.
Bye for now.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, yeah.